There comes a moment in every man's life when his mind feels like a battlefield, loud, restless, and consumed by invisible forces. You're not broken. You're not weak. But you are out of balance. Chapter 1. When you feel empty, but can't. Stop. You wake up, and you're already tired. You scroll through your phone, chasing micro hits of dopamine, chasing novelty, chasing anything that makes you feel alive. But the moment you put the phone down, a strange emptiness returns. You feel anxious, unfocused, maybe even numb. You try to push through. More caffeine, more stimulation. But deep down, you know this isn't sustainable. What you're experiencing isn't laziness. It's dopamine fatigue. It's the silent burnout that no one talks about because it doesn't come from doing too much, but from chasing the wrong things too often. The Stoics warned us, if a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable. You've been sailing through storms, but without direction. And your nervous system is paying the price. You weren't designed to consume endless information. You weren't designed to be constantly reachable. You weren't meant to wake up and immediately be at war with your attention. So what happens when your brain is overloaded with unnatural dopamine spikes? The answer is simple. You lose your edge. You stop feeling joy in the simple things. You stop focusing deeply. You stop finding meaning in effort. And slowly, the man you once were, driven, grounded, alert, fades into a restless version of himself. Always stimulated, but never satisfied. This isn't about shame. It's about awareness. Because once you understand how modern habits hijack your biology, you can begin the quiet rebellion. Chapter 2. The hidden cost of pleasure on demand. Every time you reach for your phone without thinking, every time you open a new tab while working, every time you chase a quick laugh, a quick thrill, a quick escape, you're not just killing time. You're training your mind to run from stillness. The human brain, when flooded with constant rewards, forgets how to earn them. It forgets how to wait, how to build, how to struggle. And in that forgetting, a part of your strength erodes. The Stoics didn't fear pain. They feared comfort without character, because comfort can sedate a man's ambition while convincing him he's just fine. You were born into a world where pain is optional. Entertainment is endless. Food is instant. Stimulation is constant. And yet so many men feel empty, lost, and numb. Why? Because pleasure without effort is a counterfeit of joy. And the more you consume it, the less alive you feel. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." But how can you reclaim your mind if it's always distracted? Here lies the paradox. The more you chase dopamine, the less reward you get from it. The more you try to feel good all the time, the worse you feel in the long run. You become desensitized, disconnected, dull. You stop feeling the satisfaction of a deep conversation. You stop hearing the silence between your thoughts. You stop enjoying your own company. And worst of all, you stop growing. There's a point where your nervous system begins to rebel. You may feel it as brain fog, anxiety, low libido, poor sleep, or lack of motivation. But beneath it all is one truth. You've been outsourcing your peace to things that were never meant to give it. Chapter 3. When the mind rebels, signs you're spiritually starving. At first, it looks like fatigue. Then it becomes apathy. Soon, it's a quiet despair you carry everywhere, even in moments that should bring joy. This is not just mental burnout. It's spiritual starvation. You scroll for hours, but nothing satisfies. You eat, but you're still hungry. You rest, but you wake up tired. You're not just exhausted, you're undernourished in the places that matter most. And this is the cost of modern comfort. A life so flooded with stimulation that it drowns your spirit. Stoics knew this long before dopamine was ever discovered. They didn't have neuroscience, but they had brutal clarity. They knew that to be truly alive, one must suffer, not meaningless pain, but purposeful friction, because a man who avoids all discomfort ends up avoiding himself. When you numb the struggle, you numb the strength it builds. And when you silence the call to grow, you amplify the noise of regret. You may notice subtle changes. Your mornings begin later and later. Your goals feel heavy. You isolate, not out of peace, but out of avoidance. You chase novelty, but everything feels the same. This is your nervous system crying out for balance. This is your soul reminding you, you are not meant for this kind of life. There is a deep, ancient part of you that longs for challenge, order, silence, discipline. It longs to earn joy through effort, not excess. It craves stillness, not because it is empty, but because it is full of meaning. And yet, everything around you whispers the opposite. Your phone says, you don't need to wait. Advertisements scream, you deserve this now. The world says, ease is the goal. But your inner world knows, ease is a trap. Epictetus warned us. Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. And what lies outside your control? Other people, the future, the past, but most importantly, your environment's relentless pull to distract you. You cannot think clearly when your mind is hijacked. You cannot feel deeply when every emotion is flattened by stimulation. And you cannot grow when every obstacle is removed before you can face it. This is the rebellion of your nervous system, not because it is broken, but because it remembers what you've forgotten. It remembers the rhythm of nature, the power of stillness, the clarity of discipline, the beauty of boredom. Your body was not designed to feel good all the time. It was designed to feel alive. There's a difference. And so, if you feel anxious, restless, uninspired, you're not failing. You're waking up. The question is, will you listen? If these practices are already helping you, take a moment to like this video and share it with someone who could benefit from regaining their strength. Don't forget to subscribe to Stoic Alchemist and hit the notification bell too. Stay inspired with more practical wisdom. Your journey to clarity and energy starts now. Chapter 4. Nature doesn't rush. Yet everything gets done. You open your eyes, and it begins again. The pressure, the urgency, the silent war between who you are and who you feel you're supposed to be. You look at the clock, and suddenly the day already feels like it's slipping away. There's never enough time, never enough energy, never enough progress. And so you push. You force yourself to move faster, to chase harder, to become more. But in this constant rush, you forget the most powerful truth nature has to offer. Nature never hurries, yet everything is accomplished. A seed doesn't become a tree overnight. The tides don't crash to meet a deadline. Even your heartbeat, steady and calm, doesn't race unless you're under threat. Yet here you are, sprinting through life as if arriving faster means arriving better. But better for who? Seneca once wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." You weren't born to rush. You were born to align, to return to the rhythm that made you human in the first place. The modern world glorifies speed. Success is measured by how much you can produce, how quickly you respond, how far ahead you are. But speed without direction is just noise. There's a stillness inside you that knows this. It's the same stillness that watches the sun rise and doesn't panic, that listens to the wind and feels no urgency, that breathes deeply when everything around you shouts. This stillness isn't laziness. It's clarity. It's choosing to do what matters when it matters, without the illusion of falling behind. Because the truth is, most of what you rush toward is not necessary. It's distraction disguised as duty. It's dopamine dressed as ambition. It's urgency manufactured by systems that feed on your anxiety. Nature doesn't check its metrics. It doesn't compare timelines. It simply becomes what it was always meant to be, and so can you. But only if you pause long enough to remember what that is. This is the second fall. Not only are you rushing, but you've started believing that your value is tied to your velocity. That slowing down is failure. That resting is weakness. That reflection is indulgence. But the Stoics would disagree. Marcus Aurelius said, "If you seek tranquility, do less." Or more accurately, do what's essential. This is not about doing nothing. This is about doing only what's worth your life. And life is what you're spending every time you say yes to what doesn't matter. You are not a machine. You are not an algorithm. You are not designed to respond instantly, endlessly. You are a part of nature. And nature is patient, deliberate, and unapologetically slow. It's time to honor that. Let your pace offend the world if it has to. Let your stillness look strange to those addicted to movement. Let your life unfold like the seasons measured, intentional, timeless. Because when you return to the natural pace, you don't fall behind. You finally catch up to yourself. Chapter 5. You are not behind. You are becoming. Is a question that haunts almost everyone silently. Am I too late? Too late to start. Too late to change. Too late to become who I was meant to be. You scroll through success stories, compare timelines, watch others rise, and somehow, even when you're doing everything you can, it never feels like enough. You begin to believe you're behind, that you missed something, that life is moving faster than you can keep up with. But what if that belief is the lie? What if the race was never real? What if you're not behind? You're just becoming. There's a moment in every life when the path turns invisible. You can't see where it leads. You don't know how long it will take. You can only trust that you're meant to walk it anyway. This is where most people give up, not because they lack strength, but because they think they're supposed to be somewhere else by now. But the Stoics would say otherwise. They'd remind you that time is not your enemy. It's your canvas. That no man is too late who still breathes, because every breath is a chance to begin again. Epictetus once said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." He didn't say, "Check how long it took others." He didn't say, "Compare your pace to theirs." He said, "Choose who you want to become. Then walk." You see, the illusion of being behind comes from confusing timelines with destinies, but your path is not theirs, and theirs is not yours. And comparison is the thief not just of joy but of direction. This is the first fall. You feel like you're failing, not because you are, but because you're measuring your growth with someone else's ruler, and it's killing your spirit. It's making you rush decisions, abandon your intuition, doubt your potential. But you are not late. You are not stuck. You are becoming. Transformation isn't linear. Sometimes it looks like chaos, like silence, like detachment, like rest. Sometimes becoming means unbecoming, everything that isn't really you. And that takes time. Nature does not bloom in panic. It unfolds, one moment at a time. This is the second fall, believing that your worth is determined by milestones. That unless you have the job, the relationship, the success, then you are nothing. But how many people have all of that and still feel empty? You don't become valuable when the world finally sees you. You are valuable because you are aware, because you are alive, because you are choosing to become consciously, even when it hurts. And that is rare. So no, you are not behind. You are simply on your own timeline. And if you can learn to trust that, to move with presence, to grow without panic, to become without comparing, then time becomes your ally. The Stoics didn't rush. They refined, they listened, they endured, and in doing so, they built something. Stronger than speed, they built legacy. You are not a project to be completed on schedule. You are a soul unfolding, and the becoming is the point. Chapter 6. The calm after disappointment. You imagined it differently. The relationship, the opportunity, the future you had planned. And then, with no warning, it collapsed. Maybe she walked away. Maybe life said no. Maybe everything you built slipped through your fingers, quietly, cruelly, completely. And in the silence that followed, one thought echoed, why did this happen to me? This is the first fall. You feel abandoned not just by people, but by life itself. Disappointment cuts deeper than pain, because pain is honest. But disappointment comes dressed in hope. You trusted, you gave, you believed. And it wasn't enough. There's a heaviness that settles in your chest when what you thought was yours isn't, and no amount of logic can fix that overnight. So you sit with it, you carry it, and sometimes you let it define you. But here's the truth Stoicism teaches. Life owes you nothing, not love, not justice, not explanations. The universe is not personal, it's indifferent. But that's not cruelty. It's freedom. Because when life stops being about what you deserve, it becomes about what you create. Seneca wrote, you act like mortals in all that you fear, and like immortals in all that you desire. You cling to what you want as if it's permanent, but you treat your fears like they will destroy you. This is the paradox of disappointment. You mourn the illusion, not the reality. You thought she'd stay. You thought the job would last. You thought life would follow the script you wrote. But that script was always fiction. Here's the second fall. Trying to rewrite the past with regret. Replaying every moment. Thinking if you had just said something different, done more, loved better, maybe the ending would change. But it won't. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you are free. Because after disappointment comes something rare, calm, not right away, not easily, but eventually, like the tide returning to shore, it arrives. The silence after heartbreak is brutal, but it's also sacred. It's where you meet yourself without distractions, where you stop asking why and start asking what now. You begin to see that the thing you lost was never yours to keep. And more importantly, you survived. This is where the Stoic is reborn. Not in the triumphs, but in the ruins. You do not heal by pretending it didn't hurt. You heal by realizing that even though it did, you're still here. You can choose resentment, or you can choose renewal. And when you choose renewal, disappointment becomes a teacher. Not a curse. It teaches you not to cling, to expect nothing, to remain grounded in what you can control. Not her love, not their loyalty, not the outcome, only your response. So breathe. Let go of the script and meet life as it is, not as you hoped it would be. Because sometimes the calm after disappointment is the beginning of something better, not louder, not grander, but truer. And truth, my friend, that is where peace begins. If this message resonates with you, please like and share this video with someone who needs to protect their peace of mind. Subscribe to Stoic Alchemist and turn on notifications to keep receiving guidance on building mental strength and balance. Your clarity begins with intention. Chapter 7. When you learn to let her go, there is a moment, not loud, not dramatic, when something shifts inside you. You don't announce it. You don't need to. Because the change happens in silence. You stop waiting for her message. You stop checking if she watched your story. You stop thinking that maybe, just maybe, she'll come back. You don't hate her. You're just done holding your breath. This is the first fall. The realization that holding on has become heavier than letting go. For weeks, maybe months, your mind orbited her like a satellite, spinning around what she said, what she didn't, what you should have said instead. But one day, you wake up, and there's no weight. No ache, just clarity. Letting go isn't a declaration, it's a quiet act of survival. You learn that love, in its most powerful form, doesn't beg to be returned. It simply is, and when it's no longer honored, it retracts, not out of spite, but out of self-respect. Epictetus said, when someone is properly grounded in life, they shouldn't have to look outside themselves for approval. You loved her deeply, but you made the mistake of believing that love should be earned, as if your worth depended on being chosen. It doesn't. Your value is not measured by who stays. It's revealed by how you walk away. The second fall is this: believing that letting go means you lost, that she won, that somehow moving on is surrender. But it's not. It's choosing your peace over your pride. It's choosing your dignity over your desire. It's realizing that the door you kept open in case she returned was also letting in the cold. So you close it gently, without bitterness, without a final message. Because if she had wanted to understand, she would have listened before you went silent. Letting go isn't forgetting. It's remembering without pain. It's being able to say, that was real, that was beautiful, but it's no longer mine. You begin to focus on your space, your energy, your inner world, and in that stillness, you start to rebuild the man she never really knew. The man you abandoned in your attempt to win her over. He's calmer now, not because he doesn't feel, but because he no longer chases what refuses to be caught. You learn that the world doesn't end when someone walks away. In fact, that's often when it begins. You start to trust again, not in others, but in your ability to survive them. You find beauty in the solitude, power in your silence, and a kind of love that doesn't need to be mirrored to exist. Letting go doesn't mean the love wasn't real. It means you finally chose to be real with yourself. And the man who learns to let her go, not out of anger, but out of truth, is the man who finally becomes unshakable. Chapter 8. Rebuilding yourself from the inside out. The hardest battles are often the ones no one sees. After the silence, after the letting go, you might feel empty, like you lost more than a person. You lost a part of yourself. You look in the mirror and wonder, who am I now? What remains when the love, the plans, the future dissolve? This is the first fall, the disorientation of rebuilding from the us. Ruins. It's confusing, painful, and lonely. You realize that the man you were, the one who gave everything for her, needs to be found again, redefined, reborn. Because healing isn't about filling the void with distractions or new relationships. It's about sitting with the emptiness and asking the questions that matter. Who am I without her? What do I want beyond the ache? What is my purpose when everything else feels broken? These questions don't come with easy answers. They shake you to your core. They demand honesty that you've avoided. But within that discomfort lies the path to your true strength. Seneca said, "No man was ever wise by chance." Wisdom comes from facing yourself in the quiet moments, from stripping away the illusions, and facing what's left raw and real. You start small. You reclaim your habits. You rebuild your rituals. Maybe it's waking up early, just for you. Maybe it's reading the books that expand your mind. Maybe it's moving your body, feeling alive in your skin again. Each step forward is a stitch in the fabric of your new identity. And here's the second fall, the temptation to rush, to look for quick fixes, to pretend you're fine. But real transformation takes time. It's a slow burn, not a sudden flame. Your dopamine, the chemical of motivation and reward, doesn't spike with instant gratification anymore. It responds to consistency, presence, and meaning. You learn to celebrate the small victories. The days you don't give in to old habits. The moments you choose to be present, even when it hurts. You rebuild your life, not because you're desperate to move on, but because you're committed to honoring your own worth. This process isn't linear. There will be setbacks, doubts, and moments of loneliness. But every time you rise, you prove to yourself you are not defined by loss, but by resilience. Marco Aurelio reminded himself daily. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Your suffering is not an obstacle. It's the foundation. Because when you rebuild from the inside out, you're not just recovering, you're evolving. You become someone who doesn't depend on external validation, someone who draws power from their own clarity and strength. Man who masters this art is no longer a victim of circumstance. He is the architect of his fate. So, ask yourself, are you ready to rebuild? To face the silence inside? To become stronger than ever before? Because the path to your new self begins where the old one ended, and in that ending, there is a beginning more powerful than you can imagine. Chapter 9. Guarding your mind. Choosing what occupies your space. Your mind is a territory, a fragile, sacred space where your thoughts, emotions, and energy reside. And just like any territory, it needs protection. Have you ever left a conversation feeling lighter, clearer, almost as if a fog inside your head had lifted? And then, at other times, left feeling drained, confused, smaller? That is not mere sensitivity. It's chemistry. The people you surround yourself with shape your nervous system. They influence your mood, your clarity, your motivation. They impact your dopamine levels, the chemical that fuels your drive and joy. Your brain is inherently social. It regulates itself through interactions, genuine listening, welcoming looks, non-judgmental presence. But it also goes on alert when faced with constant criticism, disguised comparisons, or superficial relationships that demand performance over truth. Seneca once said, "Nothing damages character more than spending time with frivolous people." Not out of arrogance, but as a warning. The environment your mind breathes in either nourishes or suffocates your essence. You feel it in your body. With the right people, you breathe easier, speak clearer, feel more whole. With the wrong ones, your gaze dims, your words hold back, and you shrink, even if you smile on the outside. Relationships aren't neutral. They either build or corrode. So, look honestly. Who are the 5 people you spend the most time with? Do they inspire or drain you? Do they accept you or judge you? How do you feel after being with them? More yourself or emptier? Be honest with yourself. Sometimes, what harms your mind is not the outside world, but the place you insist on holding on to. You can't always change everything overnight, but you can start choosing better. Try this simple exercise today. Send a sincere message to someone who brings you peace. It can be gratitude, a memory, or just, "I'm glad to have you near." Living relationships need living gestures. And as important as protecting yourself is giving back. Be the presence you wish to have. Create true reciprocity. Be rest in the lives of those who walk with you. Because the ground your mind walks on every day is made of voices. Some are like constant shadows. They cool you down, weaken you, dim your light. Others are like morning sun, soft, but awakening everything that was asleep. Choose well, because the voice you hear most often will slowly become your own. Chapter 10. Daily Rituals. The invisible work that builds strength change is not born from grand gestures or sudden epiphanies. It is forged quietly, in the unseen moments you choose to be faithful to yourself. How many times have you known exactly what you needed to do? Wake up early, eat better, sleep sooner, manage your money wisely, say no to what drains you, yet kept putting it off. The problem is not ignorance. It's surrender. Surrendering a little bit each day to old habits, to the noise, to distractions that silently bleed your energy. You don't need a huge plan to change your life. You need to return to basics, consistently. Charles Duhigg, author of The Power of Habit, explains that true behavior change starts with small wins. Your brain understands that better than you think. Dopamine doesn't respond to intensity. It responds to repetition. It's the daily commitment to what strengthens you. Even when no one's watching. It's drinking water the moment you wake up. It's moving your body to organize your mind. It's learning about finances. It's deciding to sleep without your phone in your hand. It's that firm no. That respected silence. That right choice, even when nobody applauds. All these may seem small, but this is exactly how a mind is rebuilt, not with huge turns, but with honest repetitions. Marcus Aurelius, even while ruling an empire, wrote daily reminders to himself about what mattered to stay centered. You don't have to rule an empire, but you do need to build an inner territory of clarity. And that begins with your rituals, because it's not hard to know what makes you feel good. The hard part is staying true to it in a world that pushes you to excess, noise, distractions. That drain your energy without you realizing it. But that fidelity will rebuild you. So today, instead of trying to change everything, choose one thing that supports you and repeat it. Dopamine won't solve all your problems, but it will show you how aligned your life is with what's essential, or how far away you are from it. And maybe, after so many days trying to feel good, you just need something simpler, less stimulus and more presence, less demand and more awareness, fewer unreachable goals and more loyalty to what makes you feel alive. True mental strength does not come from miraculous change. It is built invisibly. In those nights, you choose to sleep better. In those 5 minutes, you close your eyes and simply breathe. In the exercise that reorganizes your thoughts. In the no you give to vice and the yes you offer to what renews you. You don't have to wait to feel motivated. You need to act, even without it. And if you do this today, tomorrow, and the day after, something inside you will start to change. One day, without even noticing, you will look in the mirror and think, I'm no longer the person who is trapped. Because I did what few dare to do. I chose to free myself. And just having come this far already proves you have the strength and determination to transform your life. So comment now. Strengthen the foundation, because it is the foundation that holds a strong mind. And it is with a foundation that everything worth living for is built. Thank you for joining me on this journey to reclaim your energy, your clarity, and your true strength. Remember, the path to mental resilience is not about sudden leaps, but steady, intentional steps taken every day. If this video has helped you, don't keep it to yourself like it. Share it with someone who needs to hear this message. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to Stoic Alchemist and activate the notification bell to stay connected with more wisdom that empowers your mind and spirit. Your growth matters, and together we build a stronger, calmer, and more focused self. Until next time, keep moving forward with purpose and calm.